Hello, hello, lovely viewers. Once again, this is your key mama back in the house. I don't know. How are you all doing today?
Hello, lovely viewers. Once again, this is your key mama back in the house.
Right.
How are you all doing today?
Okay, so today I have a wonderful, wonderful Madam. It's Mother's Day. We're still celebrating Mother's Day, as you all know. This is
Yeah.
your key mama, back on the screen every Wednesday. We are here with our special guest. We are going to have a conversation. It's a conversation section. You don't have to sweat, you relax, get your chair. I know some of you are working and you'll be watching from wherever that you are. So we come here, during the afternoon, we do whatever we have to do. Then later on, you can catch up with us on YouTube or Facebook. Then we take it from there. As you all know, my name is Key Mama, and Catherine Kujo is my real name. Oh, don't forget. So today we have our special guest in the house. I'm not going to waste time. He's no one other than Reverend Esther Azu Maseyo.
Maseyo.
Maseyo. I told you
Literally.
the language is if you're queer, so today it's a wonderful day to have you, and I've been yearning for a woman guest for some time now. I thank my producer for being there and doing a wonderful job. On behalf of the production team and our partners, I would like to once again welcome you to the Key Mama Show. We are blessed to have you, Madam.
Thank you so much.
We have
Thank you so
another
much.
guest. Few guests will be joining us here and there just to give us a moral support that we are here. And along the line, I will officially get them in for them to introduce themselves on the Key Mama Show. And
That's okay.
reading or the research that I have, you are a wonderful, dynamic woman, a woman with many hearts. I think I will say the Reverend is the face of it. And you have so many, around the corners here and there. I'm going to give you
Yeah,
the opportunity to tell us the ones that you've been hidden that we don't know. So tell us about yourself.
that's okay. Thank you so much, Ki Mama,
You're
and
welcome.
your lovely listeners and Michael guests. Yeah, just like you mentioned, my name is Reverend Esther Maseyo Azu. Yeah, Maseyo, literally translated as a foreign woman. Well, I'll tell you the story about that some other time.
Okay, we are here.
I am a mother of two boys, a divorcee, a teacher by profession, a fashion designer, and a caterer.
Right.
And then I hail from Odumasi Krobo in the eastern region of Ghana. But currently I'm residing in Somenya, which is just close to Odumasi, where I've had all the opportunity to serve society with all that God has endowed me. And I must say, I'm happy serving my own people. Yeah,
Okay. So I'd like to start with your ministerial position. How
that's
long have
okay.
you been a reverend minister?
Oh, just about a year now. I got commissioned last year. Just about a year old.
So how did you get yourself involved?
That is interesting. I reside in Somenia, like I stated, and then the theological seminary, that is the Trinity Theological Seminary, is situated in Accra, Lagos. And so what I did was this. I enrolled with the evening school. And so in the morning, I play my role as a mother, get my boys ready for school, go to school and teach. And then when I close in the afternoon, around 1 p.m., I need to travel for 2 hours to get myself in a class. And I did that for 3 years. by the grace of God. Most often I return home by 10 p.m., traveling same distance. And so that is how I got myself trained. Interestingly,
Wonderful,
I got
wonderful.
trained.
We are
Yeah.
glad to have you. My viewers and listeners are glad to have a woman, a powerful woman like you. But
Thank
I will
you.
ask again, what really drove you to that direction? Because you're a woman of many hats, like you mentioned, fashion designer, caterer, you have
Yeah.
your hands full. So
Yeah.
why you focus or you went to that direction? Were you called in your dreams or some family member push you into that? Because anybody that comes, forgive me, they said they heard some voice, somebody called them or whatever. What really drove you to that direction?
Thank you so much, my dear sister. I must say that for me, getting myself in ministry is just like an icing on the cake. Because just like the other things I've mentioned, I do, it has to do with serving humanity and being there for other people. And then ministry, as we know, originates from Christ, who gave himself all out to society and then tried as much as possible to be there for them.
Hmm.
And so for me, well, I got motivated by what I do. You know, you are exposed to people every now and then. And especially with my radio program, you have people coming in with several issues that needed pastoral attention and counseling backgrounds and all that. And so I realized that it would be better if I could enroll in a seminary. I have that burden on my heart helping people. And I'm so much convinced that I just want to step in where Christ left off to serve my generation. And so, with that conviction and looking at the demand coming from society, I decided to move an extra step higher to get myself properly trained in pastoral care counseling, other ministerial areas, so that I can serve my people and serve them very well.
Okay,
Yeah.
so through the radio programs, what is the station that you operate on? What
It's
is the
Bright
name?
FM. Bright
Bright.
FM. Yeah, located in Sumenya.
Oh, Bright FM located in Somenia. Wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful.
Mhm.
So
And this
through the radio counseling, that
program,
drove you to become a Reverend Minister at the Methodist Church.
yeah. And
Okay.
just a quick one to add to that. You know, I've been very active serving in various capacities in the church. And so your gifts are always at the front line. People admire what you do, they encourage you. So you have some senior men and women asking you about whether you're considering ministry so you can be trained. And so some of those things also came on board because the experience I gathered from serving right through the youth ministry, the children's ministry, now working with the adults, all contributed to coming up to that decision. So apart from what society brought up, the church within which I serve also gave me several platforms which exhibited some gifts and graces I have. And by motivation from senior ministers and other loved ones, I think together brought me this far. And I'm grateful for their lives.
Wonderful. So, how
Yeah.
did you juggle with the other careers, being a fashion designer, a caterer, a radio presenter? How did you manage? And you're a full-time mother. So, how did you
Yeah.
do it?
Thank you. That's a beautiful question. I would say the first thing here is the motivation from the love for what I do. And you see, when you're doing something and you love it so much, you are ready to go the extra mile. And then the other thing here is proper time management and judicious use of my time. For example, I find myself as a teacher in school probably from 8 a.m. to around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And so after 2 p.m., what else? That is when I pick up my sewing business or the fashion business, which sometimes, if not interrupted by any other program in the evenings, could take me to somewhere 9 p.m. where I actually retire to sleep. And then that one interesting thing I used to do is this cleaning of my house, getting the kids their meals prepared and all that. I usually work at that between 9 p.m. and 11. I usually go to bed after 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
That's my usual sleeping time because I couple that with I love reading when the environment is very quiet. So before I took up the theological training, this was how I was running my life. After school, 2 p.m., try to do some sewing till around probably 7 p.m., take up cleaning and other household chores. But interestingly, when I started a theological training, I had to pause a little with the sewing because that was the time I was traveling out for classes.
Maybe
And
Madam
so
Kuna.
instead of sewing widely for, let's say, casual wears and all other needs, I was concentrating on bridal
Madam Kuna
wears.
an interview be.
So with that, I have a little time, I have some manageable time to work on the bridals. So the customers I was serving with casual wears, for other formal wears and others were kind of restricted. And I was serving the bridal purposes and occasionally bring those urgent ones on board to serve. And so that was how I managed for the 3 years. But God's willing, since I completed last year, I have resumed back adding ministry alongside and then trying to do them in bits. Yeah,
So, if I heard you correctly, you are
yeah.
not just fashion or never, but you also into bridal gowns, right?
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay,
please.
that is maybe
Yes.
you do my wedding gown for me. Who knows?
I'll gladly do that.
I'm waiting. Don't worry. When I'm 70 years, I'll have my wedding.
That's beautiful. We pray to see that day.
And yeah, as we all know, a month of May, we
Mm,
just celebrate, Mother's Day, everybody showcasing their mom and so
yeah.
forth. So I'm going to, you know, talk about mothers a little bit. And
Okay.
if I may ask you, because of your background,
All
can you
right.
tell us who is a parent and what are the core duties of a parent? Because
Right.
you have
Thank.
you have so many broad areas you are covering.
Yeah,
So I'm taking you towards that direction. My
that's
dear
okay.
brother, I know you are on. Well, introduce yourself so our mother can continue. Then I'll meet your radio because we're having some
Mhm.
interruption.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mama. This is Theodore. I'm calling from Somania.
So you
And then,
come to support mommy, yeah?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to mute you for a second because I'm having some
Mm,
feedback. Okay,
mm.
mommy. So tell us the duties of a parent.
All right. Thank you so much. And I must say, I'm a proud parent and a proud mother for that matter. Yes, because talking about a parent is not only restricted to the mother, though. You have two persons coming together to bring up a child the biological way. That is a father and then a mother. But if you want to define a parent or describe who a parent is in the general view, we cannot restrict it to somebody who is a biological mother or father alone. And so we can't say a parent is a caregiver or someone who is there for a child, either a biological child, an adopted one, or whatever, who is ready to be supportive, to help that feeble little one to grow, to become an adult who is responsible and will fit well in society. So, talking about who a parent is a caregiver and one who is there, a model, who is there to give a child the necessary support to be able to grow into a responsible adult. Yeah, that is my definition for a parent.
That's beautiful,
Yeah.
straightforward, and layout. And
Mm,
as a single mom,
mm,
reverend, and entrepreneur, what are some of the challenges as a mother or a parent do you face? Because all
okay.
mothers, all single women are
Mm,
listening and they're going to learn from this. Key Mama Show is a place where people come and learn something or get some information and run with it. So what are
okay.
some of the challenge? You can use yourself as an experience,
Yeah.
as an example for
Okay.
other people to know that being a single mom,
Mm,
shouldn't you sit at the corner and look for sympathy?
mm.
But
Yeah.
so, what
Thank you
has been
so
your
much.
challenges?
Thank you so much. Parenting on the general scale has its own challenges. And when it comes to the single mom, it's more or less a double challenge because the situation as laid down where you have a father and a mother, whatever responsibilities are there are being shared among the two parties, that is the father and the mother. But in the case of a single mom where there is no father, the mom is left alone to shoulder all the responsibilities, right from nurturing the children, providing their needs, grooming them, discipline, teaching them moral values, and what have you. And then when it comes to the economic side, it is more tiresome and frustrating because the world in which we find ourselves now, economic situations have changed and things are hard. And so I must say those are some of the reasons why I found myself doing so many things because you need to work hard to get enough resources to support the children so that the vacuum being created by the absence of a father wouldn't psychologically affect them in any way or emotionally torture them when it comes to their education, their well being, and then growing to be the kind of people you expect them to be. And so, like I mentioned, financial problems are there, the challenge of parenting, the children of the opposite sex. Parents serve as a model. And in my case, I have two boys. I happen to be a woman. And so you double up the responsibility of grooming these young men, trying to know what is expected of a young man, what the father was supposed to have done. And then you have to delve into such areas and try to be there for these boys. And sometimes it's not easy because, excuse me, they don't seem to understand you. They don't try to understand why a woman or a lady trying to groom me into a man. And that is the number one challenge I have personally. But by the grace of God, we've been sailing quite good. I try sharing personal experiences, getting male friends on board who have time with them, sharing with them, trying to kind of orient them. And with such support, I've been doing good. And by the grace of God, I think I'm making headway. Yeah.
So, from
For the
what you said, what I pick out from it is that as a single parent or a single mother, you always need a female to mentor, especially if you have a male child, you need a
yeah.
female to mentor. Is it really necessary?
Yes, to some extent. Like I'm saying, I have been able by God's grace, though I'm a female raising two male children, I've been able to make some impact. But like I rightly mentioned earlier, sometimes you have the challenge. For example, when it comes to what to wear or how to match your clothing, you try to offer a suggestion and they want to go their own way. Mommy, I want to go this way. And then you are like, no, as a gentleman, you should have your shirt well stuck in there,
Hmm.
have your shoes with socks and all that. And they are wondering, you are a woman, you don't do this. Why do you know all this and want us to do just that? So that if they were a male model, they will easily learn from the person by observing.
Okay.
I hope you get me. Yeah.
But I think I agree and I disagree on that page, but it is
That's
not my
okay.
position. When we get to there, I'll ask my brother to
That's
contribute in
okay.
that area. That's what
That's
he
fine.
thinks on that note about a woman making sure that you're well talking. And because you don't want nowadays, 21st century, we are talking about. Some men can turn. I would save
All
my
right. Yeah, and I get you.
I will save my comments here.
I get you.
You're making me laugh today because anyway, I'm always laughing. So
That's nice.
okay, so let me fast forward. How can a church, education institution, the government, civil society organization, and media work together to make parenting a successful one? Because
Well,
everybody, from my observation,
mm,
there are so much division when it comes to parenting. Everybody have
mm,
their way of parenting. For
mm,
example, gone were the days when we were coming up. Our
mm,
parents were bringing it up. You are
mm.
allowed to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And discipline. I
Mm,
mean, if they have to spank your butt a little bit for a
yeah.
wake up call, it's
Mm,
allowed in the schools. Also,
mm,
because we take into the schools, parenting
mm,
goes across. And
mm,
in the schools now, they said, hey, 21st century, you
mm,
cannot do that. And we are seeing in the schools that the children are getting out of hand.
mm,
What's your take on that?
mm. Thank you so much, Key Mama. It's a very serious problem in our time, just like you rightly mentioned. Growing up, especially from the African background, we know how keen parenting was for our parents and all the effort they put in to make sure that we were properly brought up. Well, now with the presence of what we call human rights and all others, we have the church, the educational institutions being having their hands tied in some way, just like you rightly mentioned.
Right.
And so parenting is becoming more of a difficult task. Now, beginning from the church, as we know, is an extension of society because all people who come in to worship are people coming from the society. And so I define the church as a collection of various families coming together to fellowship. And so whatever transpires in the church can be traced into the families or into the homes and equally into our schools because that is where our children get their education. So bringing about whatever we need to discuss here as challenges, I want us to put all these in one bowl or in one basket so that because nowadays, where we see the laws being enforced is in our schools, because that is where the government have upper hand on what goes on there, and maybe by extension into our homes. And so because some educational policies have come up restricting or trying to define the level of discipline that we are supposed to give to our children, these things have been extended into the home. And then also when you come to the church, it is also being affected in some way. And so I must say that every aspect of society is affected. Coming to what we are supposed to do, I think it begins from the home. Just like we said, as a parent, you have the responsibility of bringing up your child to pick up your values and morals so that the child can grow to fit well in society. So that if that doesn't go well, it goes against the child. And probably we will come to that. But when it comes to a style of parenting I admire most, that is the authoritative parenting. It kind of suggests a democratic system. So that what I'm trying to say is that we begin from the home, where parents will have to sit their children down, try to explain to them what our generation is bringing on board, what used to transpire. And then, as a way of discussion, trying to find out those that are good coming from the background, what is best to be implemented for their own good. Because I am saying it should be in a form of a discussion because if you try to impose, because there are laid down rules outside the home that are governing how children are supposed to be handled, your children may think that you are getting on their nerves
Mm-hmm.
and probably hand you over to the law. And if
Mm-hmm.
you are not careful, you'll be in trouble. In Africa, here is a little bit better, but out there in the States, you understand what I mean. And so I believe that if you get your student down to, first of all, try to discuss with them letting them understand that they have a future they are preparing to meet. And those for you as a model, having gone through what you have experienced from your parents, what you pick up in your own parenting or in our generation, coming together will help to make them better adults. If you pick your argument from or discussion from these backgrounds, I think they'll be ready to listen. So that when they get a foundation right from the home, by extension to the school, even where there are restrictions, because several other people have come on board, your children will understand you, pick up from where you have laid your foundation. And I'm sure because we have other teachers and educational workers who also care, and so in their little way try to get children trained well, these children will learn to appreciate what they also come to add up to what you give them at home. And then when we get to the chapels, as a church, we need to help parents and the teachers by getting or coming up with educational strategies, workshop or training sessions where we kind of groom or train would-be parents, young parents, and people who are actually at the task so that they tend to understand some of these things, especially towards the biblical way, how God would want to have us raise these children so that we motivate them, we allow them to share their anxiety, their fears, counsel them, encourage them to go back to support. And also, at church, we have mechanisms where we have the children's service teachers who equally help the pastors to groom these little ones in their faith and also try to instill some moral values in them. So these ones as well will have to be educated, kind of trained, their departments well resourced, so that with all these motivations and exceptional support, they can equally be able to add up so that collectively we will be able to make an impact despite the environment within which we find ourselves in this era. Sound, please.
Yeah, it's me. I have to mute myself. On the same token, sometimes as a parent
Mm,
and you raising a child either by single or both parents, and the child gets to some point,
mm,
then the child started to kind of like changing, misbehaving here and there or certain things.
mm,
Then as a parent, you ask yourself, where did I, went wrong?
mm,
What did I do wrong or what I
mm,
didn't do?
mm,
At what age or along the line, what are some of the things you can pick up to know that, oh, whatever that, I'm putting or I'm teaching or I'm nurturing my child is
mm,
working? What are some of the signs before? Because sometimes you wake up and it's like at night, you're in a dream. It's like, how come
mm,
I didn't catch up with this personality, with this attitude? Or somebody else will come and say, oh my God, you know what your child doing out there? And 100% and one that you never raise a child like that. What are
mm,
some of the signs based on your experience that we have to look for?
mm. Thank you. And what I want to say is that parenting is nothing that, or is not something that someone would say that I am a perfect parent. We all learn to do the job. It's on the job training. So on daily basis, issues come up and where we try to do some evaluation and then we keep moving. And so as you raise your child, every human being is unique. And then we have several, apart from the home environment, the child is exposed to the school and friends from other backgrounds and what have you. And so sometimes there is this possibility, like you rightly said, that you might have spelled out your strategies in raising your child, but along the line, you begin to realize that certain things begin to pop up, which you haven't introduced to your child. And those are some of the challenges we have. Now, our psychologists will tell us that Between the, even right from conception, our children learn and pick some traits from us. But I believe that from the early age of 2 to 7, that is where we are able to instill all these values we desire. And then as they grow up into the early adolescent and then graduate into the adolescent, that is where the problem comes. Because the confusion of thinking that they are adults, especially with adolescents, they think they are adults, meanwhile they are children some way, is where the challenge actually comes from. And at that stage, they begin to make friends, try to relate with other people. And this time around, we have social media, the internet, and all other informations at their disposal. And so as they explore, they get into contact, they come into contact with so many other influences apart from what comes from the home. And so what I want to say is that these things are obvious and they are there. You first of all don't have to panic. You don't have to be anxious. You try to be relaxed as much as possible whilst you are vigilant and observing, trying to figure out where the differences are coming from. And then, like I mentioned earlier, in a conversation, you try to find out from your word why he or she would prefer going that way either than what you have instilled. And I'm sure they will have some explanations to give. Most of them are being influenced by their peers. And like I said, they might have read something from somewhere. So if you realize their reason for which they tend to do what they do in a lovely manner and trying to lay out the differences and the consequences in a dialogue form, you try to drive home the consequences, weighing both sides. And I believe if you are able to do that, they will learn to appreciate, to go by your way, and then possibly pick up some suggestions as you offer them so that they improve upon the situation. It shouldn't also be in an aggressive manner because, like I mentioned, there's this contradiction. They feel they are adults and they have some elements of childhood in them. And so it should be more negotiable so that they will learn to appreciate what you do. And then when you realize that it is getting beyond your ability, you seek help from a psychologist, a counselor, or a psychiatrist who may come in to offer the necessary help you desire.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful explanation and taking us through. But on the same token, as a single mother, try to juggle and make ends meet, bring stuff on the table. Don't you think the absence also really have an effect? Because uh, you want, you're taking care of their welfare. You want to put food on the table, better clothing,
Yeah.
make sure they are happy. So you cannot be at home to gain that resource. Now thank God, some people can work from home and
Yeah.
be there at the same time. But back in Ghana, you have to be on the field, rolling your sleeves,
Yeah.
running and
Yeah.
everything. And
Mm.
what are some of the best way to make sure that that space or that vacuum that you have left to be there as a parent is being uh, not something that they will have it as a freebie, jumping, doing whatever that they want. What are some of the advice do you have? Because it's not just back home in Ghana or Africa, but over here in the diaspora too. Parents, both if they're both parents or a single parent, we all have the same challenge. You have to go work. By the time you get home, you are even exhausted. You don't even eat. So you wonder those hours in between that are left. If God doesn't come in, then so what advice do you give to fill in that gap
That
for
can.
these children? Yes.
Well, thank you so much. What I want to say is this: like I mentioned earlier, it's a matter of planning, and for that matter, strategically planning, so that you don't take your holidays lightly. Your weekends, you try to place your children as your priority, the time with your children. Because you can't just be going out, 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 out. You have to find some time for them. Most often during the weekdays, whilst you're at work, they are also in school. And for that matter, the teachers take care of that. So the weekends and the holidays, you should plan such that you have some time with them. It should be a quality time for that matter. So that you go out into a park, try to have some fun, maybe have a picnic somewhere. It's all about you and your children. Give them the space to talk about their fears, their experiences, and all other challenges they think they have. You try to get them to talk to you, and then you help. And so, if you do this and you do it very well, by God's grace, it is able to cater for the spaces or the vacuum that is being created. In short, when you are available, let the children feel that mommy or daddy is around. Give them your best, and they will appreciate that. And the memories for such time spent together will live with them even in your absence. And the little values you push through and your family priorities you channel through those times, they will learn to reflect on them in your absence. So balancing this way, and by the grace of God, will help you to make up for those vacuums created.
Speaking of that, the Key Mama Foundation is going to have a wonderful Children's Day coming up
Wow.
very soon, and it's
Yes,
on June 5th. It's
wow.
on June 5th, and we are looking forward for all, parents to come on board and also bring their children. So
Okay.
if you're here and you're watching, I'm trying to bring the screen on to share. Let me see right here. I can catch up from here and bring the screen on for you to see. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share the flyer with all the viewers and listeners to come and watch. Give me 1 second. Sometimes, you share the screen and the screen shares you. So here
Hmm.
we are. I
Hmm.
don't know. Can you see from your end?
Yeah, I can see that.
You can
It's
see
a
the
very,
flyer.
yes, please. And it's very
Okay.
beautiful.
Okay. So this is what we have. It's coming
Okay.
on June 5th at Crotona Park from
Okay.
12 p.m. to 6 p.m. So wherever that you are in the New York areas, you are welcome to bring the children. And we are looking forward to have our special guest. We are looking forward to, welcome him on board, which is Aibe Adam. But Bray, we have so many giveaway. We're going to do a health screening by City Medical that reside on the Grand Concourse in Bedford Park. So as Reverend Esther Azu mentioned, while she's grabbing some water because she's been going on and on, I'm giving her a break. So here you are, the screen is there, and bring your children, grandchildren to have a break because it's very, very necessary. So this is let me stop sharing the screen. So that's what the event is coming. So based on what you said, I am a recreational therapist,
Wow,
and
that's
I
beautiful.
do events and so forth, but I'm not here
That's,
for myself. So I
that's okay.
believe in leisure and recreation at all areas, all aspects of life. You
Yeah.
cannot be jumpy all the time without taking a break and having fun.
Yeah.
I am a
Yeah.
social butterfly and I love to
Yeah.
party. Even with the ache and pains I go through,
Yeah.
you will
Yeah.
always see me moving and keep moving until I
That's
can't move
beautiful.
anymore. Yes, so
And
let's move.
and
You
and Mama, interestingly, you see, going for vacations and all that, it doesn't only help the children; it helps you, the mother, as well.
tell me about.
Try to get off some stress. You do away with your stress. You catch some fun, get refreshed, and then you get back to business very strong, and
Tell
then
me again. Tell
refresh.
me
So I
again.
think.
It's wonderful. But
Yeah.
anyway, a woman with many hats here and there. Do you have a book or a material that our youth, our younger ones can go and study? I would need a copy. Do you happen to have a book or
Oh,
some experience?
personally, I thank you. I haven't come out with a book on my own, but there are several others I work with. Um, Unfortunately, I couldn't pick up the list for them, but most of them you find on the Christian library shelves. Is it about parenting now? Thank God for the internet. You go online, you Google for books on parenting, religious books on parenting, and you have quite a number of them popping up. We all have our style, our general style, and all that. So based on your your desire or your interest, you can find books in that area. There are quite a number of them all over the internet and on some good library shelves, which we can pick to read. But unfortunately, sorry, I couldn't pick titles and I wouldn't want to make mistakes. So you pardon me for that.
I will.
Yeah, thank
Before
you.
we come to our the closing remarks and everything, I see
Yeah.
one of our guests on Mawu Lolo. Although I can't see your face. If you can show your face, fine. If you can unmute yourself and also, we hear your voice, that would be wonderful for coming to support Reverend Esther Azu. Unless you're watching us, you are very the shy type. Oh, here
Yeah.
you go. Oh, you see, my sister. Me no pay me no, me no pay me.
Hi, hi.
Me no pay me.
Can you?
Ka ka ta ka ka
Also,
trouble
that was
thing.
a powerful message, powerful presentation.
Thank you.
And I keep saying, also Esther is someone else. So I always learn from her. And today too, I have learned a lot. Thank you, Kimama. And
Thank
we hope that you continue to do your good work.
thank you so much for showing us your
And
beautiful
thank you,
face, a
Sister
powerful woman I
Loretta.
get over there. Please, if I may
Yeah.
ask you also a reverend,
I am an educationist.
your education is. So I
I
look
teach I
forward.
teach in I teach college in Somania.
Okay, so I guess our next interview will be on you. So I'll save you
Yeah.
for a special day. So we take you on. Reverend Esther will hook me up. That's how we do
That's
the
beautiful,
woman
you see.
connection.
Right,
Then we
Yeah.
keep going.
right,
Yes,
right.
we have another. Wow, Reverend. You have a follower. You are a celebrity.
Yes, please. There are a lot of people.
I didn't see that in your profile that you're a celebrity. Yes. I see.
I have a lot of admirers
Oh, another woman.
and loved
Welcome to
ones.
Kimama Show. Your name? Mito Bomunyu Bobo. Uh, Tell me. I don't see your name, so I couldn't pronounce it. But please, your name for coming to support us and Reverend.
I'm Loretta.
Loretta. I saw Maulolo and our beautiful lady with nice. I think you get your braids today. Look fresh.
Yeah.
She can't hear me. She's just staring at me. That's wonderful. But I'm
Yeah.
glad to see her right here. This is what we
Yeah.
are talking. May
She's
is
been
a
a good
woman.
friend and a sister.
Oh, I see. We
Yeah.
celebrate mothers, we celebrate women, and I'm
Yeah.
glad and blessed to have
Yeah.
you from
Thank
Somenya.
you.
Somenya have so many beautiful mamas right there.
Oh, yes.
I have to come for visit.
Yeah.
How do you say I'll come for visit in a
Ma-
Kobo?
Mama Slamu.
Oh, Mama Slamu, Mama Slamu.
Yeah. Mama Slamu.
Very Mama Slamu. So,
Yeah.
Reverend, before you
Yes.
leave, what
Yes.
advice do you give
Mm,
to a single mothers, parents
mm,
out there
mm.
that are really struggling? And some
Okay.
of them think that you have to have a man,
Amen.
Mm,
or you have to have a partner, or
mm,
before you can be a woman or a good
mm,
parent. What advice? It's very sad. I don't want to go that route. Maybe another day we all
Yeah.
come and
We'll
we
come
have
to
fun
that.
and discuss. But what advice do
Yeah.
you give to these struggling parents? Once
Yeah.
upon a time, I was one of them. And
Oh,
I know how it was,
it feels
how
right.
painful, and how vulnerable
Mm,
you can be because you want to
mm,
put the food on the table. You want
mm,
to clothe your
mm,
child. And somebody
mm,
somewhere want to prey
mm.
on you
It's
of your
in.
weakness of that time. What
Mm.
advice do you give?
Thank you so much. First of all, what I want to put across is this. I refer to the single mother or a single parent as the extraordinary mother
Mm-hmm.
because the mother living with a spouse or the father has an extra hand supporting. And so for you being doing all this all alone, you are an extraordinary mother. And that should give you a pat on your shoulder and a lot of encouragement so you can stand for your children. And then telling yourself that I can make it with the grace of God and by dint of hard work. You know, when determination sets in and you motivate yourself, telling yourself that no, I'm ready to sacrifice for my children, and so I'll go the extra mile, work hard, make sure they are comfortable, and then by the grace of God, it's just amazing. You just see yourself sailing through. And so I want to encourage my sisters or other mothers who are doing this job all alone that it is not easy, but put yourself together, motivate yourself, trust in God, and by dint of hard work, you get there. It is possible. But then don't also forget that it comes with sacrifice. And you know, sacrificing is very painful. You have to sacrifice a whole lot. But mothers are to do that. We sacrifice a lot for our children. And the interesting thing is that if you are able to put these things in place, God will help you. You have other people who tend to admire what you do and give you some support. And then in no time, these children will grow, and then you see them off beautifully, even as they start their own homes. And forever, they will hold you dear to their hearts because of your sacrifice and all you have put in place to bring them that far. So I want to encourage my sisters out there that all hope is not lost. Stand in the gap, fight as a warrior, and as you strive your way through, you one day be celebrated as a heroine. That is my word for single mothers out there.
My sister right here, I want to speak the Dangbe or the Krobo
That's
in
fine.
summarize what she said.
Okay.
My sister Maulolo, Patience, right? What's the name again?
Is it Loretta?
Loretta.
Loretta, Sister Loretta. Speak the Dangbe based on what she said. Summarize in the Dangbe for me.
I don't speak Dangbe.
Oh, Maulolo. Ah,
I speak Ebe.
speak the ever for me.
That's fine.
Speak it. Yeah.
I should speak the Ebe.
Yeah.
Okay. Star Novinho. Uh, na anya nyɔnu ye ŋutsu mele ŋu o, mega agblɔ be naneke wɔna meli o. Do ŋusẽ ɖokui o, nɔ afɔ dzi nanɔ klo dzi eye nàdo gblɔ ne ɖokui be yewɔ ge ne yeakɔ kpo ɖeviwo dzi. Etsɔ menye ŋutsue ŋuwo nɔ ge hafi nàwɔ naneke o. Ŋusẽ yi le ŋutsua ŋua, Mawu ƒe amenuvevea ele wo hã si o. Gake va dze be edɔ wɔme eve wɔm, fofoa kple dada tɔ wɔm le teƒe ɖeka. Ta ɖeko míado ŋusẽ mía ɖokuiwo, míagblɔ be ale míadzi be mía viwo nenɔ xɔ. Ne Mawu ve ma ŋusẽ mía ŋuti nɔ ge, ne míata kpo mía viwo dzi. Ne etsɔ ne míedze agba eɖo fia ɖea, ɖeviwo ekpɔ be ao, yewo dada ye kpe fu eɖe yewo ŋu ye dzidzɔ hã evava ge. Ta mído ŋusẽ mía ɖokuiwo ne míanɔ anyi ne míawɔe ne mía viwo. Akpe na mi.
Wow, that's
That means I
beautiful.
know you
Igbelia.
heard it. Once you said Akpenami, I get it. My sister over
Yeah.
here, I don't know whether she speaks the Dangbe, but I wanted her to introduce herself, but I don't know
Okay.
whether she's her attention is on us with the
Oh, okay.
baby, the one with the young, handsome boy right there. Yes, yes. Now you know, you get my attention. Can you please unmute yourself and tell us your name? Uh, hey, I can hear you. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
Thank you. You have a wonderful voice. What's your name, my sister?
My name is Comfort Jabate.
Jagbate Otu Edagbe Munyo.
Actually, Comfort Jabate.
Otu Dangbe Munyo.
Eh,
Okay. What our Reverend Sister said, more advice, single parent women out there, that selling yourself to feed your child is not the best way, but you have to use your hands, work hard, and God will make way for you. Say it in the Gangbe for me and our listeners.
okay. Okay. Ikpanyete wa mami o Esther eke inga wa advice eka wa yewine wa fo bimene biche biahio. Chapika wake nyumu imoi woi basa no amana kakwa kama yene. Sene mo bo wone ha woni nyongma wa mane machuni ne kemo na kawange ni chwene wange wa himodi boyo. Mo mahane maje wali ke mahawone amaye ke bwa wone wake maye wa biyo.
Wow,
I'm
that is
telling
beautiful.
you, we have the panel set. And before we leave, I would like to share the screen and give another announcement for the Key Mama. I guess you can see the screen from your end. Can you see the
It's not
screen?
showing. No, please. It's not showing you.
It's not showing. Okay, let me narrow it a little bit. Now I will show it again. Let me close it. Narrow it now. I want to share the screen to show you the upcoming events that we are going to have. Now you can see my screen.
Yes, please. It's now up.
Okay, beautiful. This is an event that is coming on. Unfortunately, we live very far. But every year, the National Ghana Parade Council celebrates the Ghana Festival in the Bronx. You see the address is Crotona Park. If you happen to get a chance to be here in August, you are welcome to attend the Ghana Fest New York 2021. It's going to, maybe next year we can plan better, and Reverend will come and grace the occasion on behalf of the women.
Definitely. I'll pass by.
So I'd like to thank you all very much for coming and your contribution on Key Mama Show. Viewers and listeners, we are all women here. We celebrate Mother's Day, we celebrate women. The discussion we are having here, or we had here, it is very important. Our young women who are single parents, they're doing their best. We are here as women. Some of us are in, some of us are out. We have some experience. We are sharing with you that the best way is for you to stay focused and find what you can do, work. If you need an assistance, Reverend, there's a church that you attend, that whatever change you get, you contribute to the church, go to that church and tell them, don't be shy. I know it is difficult or sometimes to go out and tell someone your issue, but you have to trust someone to be able to approach and say, I'm in need and I need help. It's between you, God, and that person, your madam or the pastor, the reverend minister, if they want to spread it. But even, I don't know where in the Bible, but it said, knock and it shall be open. Knock doesn't mean you're going to heaven and see Jesus Christ or God door to open. It's about your brother, your sister that you trust in God. So knock at their door. I can testify so many testimony that sometimes I have challenges. I knock at my brother or sister door and be honest that I'm in need of help. I'm stuck. Help me out before I start losing my marbles.
Mm.
And truly, they come to my aid, and I give glory to God. So, Reverend
Amen.
Esther, my
Yes,
sister
sir.
Loretta, and my sister
Mm.
over here that I forget your name, I really thank you very much. And I look forward to bring you back again and have
Oh,
topics specifically on our
that's fine.
younger one that are coming and not yet
Exactly.
to be a
Okay.
single parent,
All
but
right.
find a way
Um,
to project. I look forward to see you in so many this
I'll
All right.
gladly receive you
and
so
thank
that we
you very
work
much.
together on this. Thank you
Don't
so
forget to
much.
follow me on YouTube and Facebook,
Yeah,
Instagram, and
I
share
surely will.
the video. Thank you
And
all very much for coming.
thank you so much for the opportunity and the time together. I'm
Thank you.
so grateful. God
Thank
bless
you, Auntie
you.
Loretta. Thank you, Grandma. I see you right
Bye
there.
bye.
Okay, bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.